a lot of activity down. They're all kind
Well,
of
hello there, and welcome to this video commentary. You may be asking yourself, when was the last time that I actually did a voiceover on one of my videos? And the answer to that is, I don't know either, but as my microphone did not work during the event mission that I'm about to show you here, I felt like doing a dedicated voiceover in post-production. And if you like this sort of stuff, then please let me know in the comments section. So I may be doing more of that in the future, not only for Cliffs, but maybe also for War Thunder, IL-2 Boss, etc. And also the reason why I'm doing a voiceover is because there's actually two things that I want to touch upon in this. One has to do with the event at hand, and the other one is I want to go into some details of the aircraft that I'm actually flying in this event. Regarding the relative strength and weaknesses and some of the quirks they have. But first things first, this is my first sortie of the day. I actually did two of them, and right here I'm flying a Hurricane Mark 1A. I took off at Lymm, which is on the southern coast of England. I climbed out to the south, and there were some bandit callouts at English Point, and currently I have one of those bandits up ahead. He seemed to have been in a dogfight with the Spitfire there by 6 o'clock. He's venting, and with nothing else to do, there were no other enemies in sight, or at least I didn't see any at the time. I thought, yeah, why not chase after him, because he's venting and he can't run full power without risking his engine to seize in a very short amount of time. So either he runs full power and he's going to be a glider in a minute or two, or he's running conservative engine settings and I shouldn't have any issue with catching up. But you see the Spitfire on my tail is actually breaking off, which rings an alarm bell, and sure enough there's another 109, which may or may not have been the wingman of the first one that I thought about running down. And a 109 and the Spitfire actually turned to the north. I don't know if the Spitfire here didn't see the 109, at least it didn't act very defensively. Now he now seems to have seen him. He's turning into the attack. 109 is still trying to get a shot at him, but the angle is too high. And I guess he also saw me, because he's not trying to turn around to engage the Spitfire again. I check my water temperature, because I'm running full boost and high RPMs. This is the Mark 1A with 100 octane, by the way, so I can run 12 pounds of boost, which translates to up to 1,310 horsepower. 109 saw me, is diving away. I didn't give chase because I never stand a chance actually catching the 109 in a Hurricane. Hurricane has a pretty low dive limit. It can actually be out-dived by 110s. A few people actually seem to realize. The 110 is actually not such a bad diver, and only really suffers when it comes up against Spitfires. Against the Hurricanes, the 110 is actually a pretty formidable fighter. So I turned around, I'm heading towards English Point again, on the lookout for some more enemies. And there's nothing in sight. The thing about the event that I wanted to touch upon is the team stacking that took place. And right from the start, I joined the event about 30 minutes into the thing. And right from the start, the red side, the RAF, was outnumbered 2-1. So I joined the RAF, and at the end, after a little more than an hour that I actually flew and participated in the event, things had actually changed to more of a ratio of 3-1, so 3 times the numbers on the blue side than on the red side. And I just want to please ask you, if you take part in this event and you see that one side is outnumbered like that, then please do not make matters worse by joining the side that has the numerical advantage, but try, if you can, to balance the numbers. Not only does it is it a lot of fun to fly different sides from time to time, it actually makes you a better pilot, because all of the people who only fly one side, you have a very warped picture, I would say, of the relative performances of aircraft. It's very easy to say, okay, yeah, this side or that side has an advantage. By the way, we see a Hurricane about to get pummeled there by the 109. Hurricane is completely oblivious to what's going on. I assume that was a novice pilot. Well, no, Hurricane is not really doing anything here. Still continuing in a left-hand climb. The 109 is trying to get in on the tail of this Hurricane. Can't blame him. I'm taking a shot here, and this was actually a pretty good angle. Because with a 109 you have to keep in mind, at the time of the Battle of Britain, the Emil was retrofitted with quite a bit of armor, not just protecting the pilot, but it also got an armored bulkhead in the fuselage, protecting the fuel tank against incendiary rounds, which was not a steel plate but a duralumin plate intended to basically eat up the incendiary rounds. Getting attacked by 109 here myself, I break into the attack, and 109 just shoots past me, probably trying to get in on Hurricane himself. Try to, there's the 109 I shot at. He's actually got a fuel leak. Both of the 109s turn away, and Hurricane somehow managed to come out of that alive. So yeah, regarding the event, what I wanted to say is, if you can, please join, or try to balance teams. Don't join, so to say, the winning team or the team that has a numerical advantage, because it's just going to make matters worse over time. People will leave on the outnumbered team, and eventually you're gonna be flying on an empty server. And yeah, there's a very simple thing that you can do to prevent this. Just join the outnumbered team, try to balance things out. So we fast forwarded here a couple of minutes. There's a dogfight going on here. I have a 109 here behind me diving, but he's still quite some distance away. Of course, I cannot outdive a 109 Hurricane, but I figured that 109 up and above me is not an issue right now. I can join this dogfight between I think it was a Spitfire and a 109. I also lost sight here of the 109 that was on my tail. I don't know where he went. I was looking around, couldn't see him. But we have the other 109 somewhere ahead of us, down low.
Yeah, I see two aircraft heading north.
There he is.
3 aircraft.
Yeah,
there's
the purple
109
and Spitfire. The 109 is actually a pretty crafty pilot. He manages to make the Spitfire basically overshoot, but of course he didn't calculate in the fact that maybe somebody else, in this case myself, comes up to pummel his aircraft with 303 rounds. I got to get a very good shot in on him, and he decides to bail right away. I don't know, maybe he lost controls here. Nobody really knows. I didn't get any 109s to light up in this sortie, unfortunately. And coming back to the event topic, on the blue side, a lot of basically everybody who flew a 109 was an E4B, and that normally wouldn't be an issue because the E4B has excellent performance at low level, and not so much at higher altitudes. It has a cropped supercharger. That's our friend in the Hurricane again from before, getting swiped out of the air by that 110, by the way. The E4B wouldn't be such an issue if blue wasn't outnumbering red 2-to-1. Basically, so by being more numerous, the blue side was actually forcing the engagements on the red side. So all of the engagements in this event basically took place at low altitude, where the E4B has superior performance to the Hurricane, and is also a very dangerous opponent for the Spitfire. And now I have a 110 on my 6. Fortunately, he missed that first burst of him, and I start turning, and of course in a sustained turn a 110 has no business with a Hurricane, and I end up on this 110 6, but I decide to switch to this higher 110, which to me was the bigger threat at the time, because I didn't want to end up as the victim of a dragon bag tactic. I let go of this 110 because I figured the other 110 was coming around to help, which is exactly what happened here. So 110 tried to turn around to help his friend, noticed that I am actually not asleep at the wheel, and instead of engaging, he decides to break off his attack, and I engage this 110, and this sortie is actually, the footage of the sortie is kind of cut off in a minute or so because I accidentally hit my stop recording button. The ending to the sortie was pretty unspectacular. I did 1 or 2 more attacks on 110 or 110 here. I don't know what he was doing, but he slammed into the ground face first. So I did 1 or 2 more attacks on this 110 and then actually clipped his wing, and I had to do an emergency belly landing in a field here because I was missing parts of my wing. That's where it cut off. And for my second sortie, I actually took a Spitfire Mark 1 100 octane, which is different to the Mark 1A 100 octane in the engine and also the propeller. The Mark 1 has a Merlin 2 and a de Havilland propeller, and the Mark 1A has a Merlin 3 and a Rotol constant speed propeller. Both engines can run on 100 octane and provide 12-pound boost. But the difference lies in what kind of propeller they can accept. So, as said, the Mark 1 here has a de Havilland, which is not constant speed prop. It was actually a propeller modified by the RAF to become a variable pitch propeller, which means that it can actually be kind of like adjusted in flight by the pilot, but it's not constant speed, so you have to have a constant eye on your propeller pitch so you don't over rev the engine, which is actually the biggest limitation of this variant, because with the Rotol has a bigger pitch range, so no matter how fast you go, you will never exceed 3000 RPM unless you basically want and force the engine to. Whereas on this one, with the de Havilland, the de Havilland has a very limited pitch range, and the biggest issue with this one is that when you're diving after an enemy, even if you set the prop pitch to the lowest pitch possible, the engine will over rev if you do not cut your throttle, and this is basically the thing that makes this aircraft in a way special. And I actually like flying this one because it's more hands-on than the Mark 1A. With the Mark 1A, you basically you have this kind of fire and forget propeller setting. So whenever you cruise, I set it to 75%, and when climbing, I set it to 80, 85, and in a fight, I set it to 95%. But I don't have to do anything else. Once I've set it to one of those settings, I have to do nothing. Whereas on this one, you can see on the lower left, I have the prop pitch setting there in digital. It's currently set to 30, 25%. I have to constantly adjust it in order to not exceed about 3,200 RPM, which is basically the hard limit. And there's a 109 strafing an airfield. I settle up right behind him here. Guess he didn't see me coming, and he gets pummeled there at close range by my 8 Brownings, and he decides to jump out, which I guess is a wise thing in this situation. And that's my first kill in the Spitfire, basically. But coming back to the event, it was very hard to like fight off the Luftwaffe here, because not only were we outnumbered on the red side, but basically everybody and a grandma was flying the 109 E4B, and all the fights took place at low altitude. Usually when the sides are balanced, you see a more diverse plate set, I would say. You don't see just E4Bs, you see also E3s, E4s, and that sort of stuff. But you can see here, like E4Bs all day, every day, which just added on top of the numerical advantage that blue side had. And after about an hour of me flying on the server, it actually the red players, the red pilots, just started leaving the server, and I can't actually blame them, because they were basically disadvantaged in several ways. And I think there's no... Is there another enemy here? I think there is. AAA at least is firing. I have a little bit of a cold. You have to excuse my voice there. I'm having a close look there, but there was a 109 here. Yeah, you can see him there right over Folkestone, attacking a friendly who's running towards Hawkinge. And I try to land a hand to this friendly right there. I check around to see if there's any more enemies, but at the time there were none. So I feel pretty confident in attacking this one right here.
All over, very low, and then there's some about Angels 5-6. So,
like with the other, I'm basically settled in on his 6 immediately. I think he saw me there at the last second, but by the time it was already too late for him. And I don't know why this guy here decided to bail immediately, because from my point of view, I didn't hit him too hard. But I mean, I'll take this kill. A kill is a kill. And there he goes. Check around, there's a Spitfire on my tail, and there's several friendlies around. No more enemies, it seems. There's a Hurricane. And here you can see I was actually flying towards Manston Ramsgate area, because there was a call out for enemies, and that's where this video actually gets very interesting in terms of aircraft handling, because I'm gonna show you the limitations basically of the engine of this aircraft here in a second. So you can see me cruising. I'm at 100% power, which is about at this altitude it's actually less than 6 pounds, but below full throttle height it's actually 6.25 pounds of engine boost.
West of Margate on the north coast.
And I'm currently looking around for the enemy who's somewhere over over Manston Airfield attacking a friendly. And I will be diving on this enemy, and I will have to really take care of my engine, because as I said earlier, you do not want to exceed 3,200 RPMs, or otherwise you risk engine damage, permanent engine damage. There's one aircraft over the airfield, you could just see him pass over one of the clouds. And there's our 109, who's been bracketed by the AAA. And he's about to extract, or try to extract, to the south. The Spitfire is giving chase, but I guess he's also having the same issues that I'm about to experience soon. My prop pitch is already at 0%, and I'm cutting the throttle completely. And even then, you can see on the right hand side my RPM is already at 3,200, and I actually have to pull out of this dive. So you have to kind of like, when you dive on an enemy that's flying like this, trying to run away on the deck, and you have a substantial amount of altitude, you have to kind of like dive in intervals. You can't just power dive it like the Rotor Spitfire onto the deck. You actually have to do it in steps. And I'm actually gonna catch up to this fella here, who's also flying an E4B, because everybody is on the blue side today flying the E4B, because it's an E4B bar gain sail somewhere, I guess. And I level out here on the deck. I can now apply engine power again without blowing my engine. And here starts the low-level chase. I have a little bit of an advantage, I guess, because I came out of a power dive, and ram air effect is a thing in cliffs. So by diving, you actually force more engine, more oxygen, or more airstream into the engine supercharger, which basically gives the engine an additional power boost, which is fairly small, but in this situation where a couple of kilometers per hour make a difference, it's enough to decide the outcome of the chase. And I'm slowly catching up, and in this situation what you can do sometimes is just shoot a little bit of MG fire after your enemy, and sometimes that's enough to make them nervous and break off and start turning, which gives you an excellent chance to catch up and run them down. But currently I'm still too far away from my liking. I'm still trying to bring my aircraft up to peak level speed. Radiator is halfway open, prop pitch is 10% in order to not exceed 3000 RPM, which is basically the optimal RPM for higher level speeds. I'm running full boost, and our 109 here is climbing a little bit, which is beneficial, I would say, because that's making him bleed off a little bit of speed. I can risk taking a shot now, and I think it took one shot there. Not really much, but now he's actually registered that he's getting shot at, and he's panicking. He's pushing his nose down, trying to run. There's this Spitfire from before. He's actually on my long 6, trying to catch up with us. And we are very, very slowly gaining on this fella. The E4B with the 601 AA engine is very fast when it doesn't have a bomb rack on, because it's got more engine power than the regular E4, because it was mostly used in this setup, and not only, but quite a lot of times as a fighter bomber. Because the extra engine power helped getting the aircraft off with a heavy load of bombs. As the 109 could take either a single 250 or 450 kilogram bombs. And you see here we've come pretty close to our 109 now. He managed to dodge that burst at the very last second, but now he's taken a beating. He's venting from both radiators. And you can actually see here the damage model of Claude. You can have different levels of radiator leaks on both of these radiators. So right hand side, he's got a big radiator leak. On the left hand side it's a smaller one, and unlike with the 109F you cannot switch off the radiators. So in the 109F that was added in Tobruk, you suffer a leak on one radiator and you can actually switch that off and make it home without risking the engine dying. But the ML didn't have that option, so whenever you have a radiator leak, you should try to turn home immediately. And our friend in the Spitfire here is about to get attacked by another 109, so I break off my flight home to turn and try to help him against this 109 here. And sure enough, this 109 only has eyes for him, so I can sneak up on his 6. Took another shot here, the 109, didn't hit anything. And I'm on this 109 6 now, coming closer and closer. He starts turning, and he's going down on the deck, and right here he's going at a very predictable turn, which allows me to put his 109 full of holes, and he bails out.
Thank you.
So that's another kill for the Spitfire here. And at this point I am turning back to England and about to land this Spitfire on at Hawkinge airfield. And this is basically the end of this sortie and also my participation in the event. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary I added for this just for this video. Let me know if you think it actually added anything to the quality of the video, if you enjoy listening to this sort of stuff. And yeah, see you in one of my future videos.
Uh-oh, air raid sirens going off at Rochester.
It's a Spit just landing here and another one just taking off. My bloody engine won't warm up, something. Two Spitfires taken off in the time I've been sitting there getting off.
Yeah, I'm the one of them.
getting a little bit of rubber banding.
Is that a sound glitch or graphics?
It's graphics. It's when something speeds up and slows down sort of
Okay.
erratically. "109 feet dry at Dover. Engine 17, engine 18.
Spitfire has just gone over Rochester. There's a contact high to your 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm in that vicinity. I don't think it's me you've just seen though.
Oh, I forgot to put a radiator down. Too busy watching that bloody thing. It's going shite.
109, engines 18 at Folkestone.
Roger.
Heading west. Yeah, he's coming to go head on.